Haunted hotels in New Orleans, where the ghosts still roam. The hallway lights flickered so fast that it looked like the whole floor was breathing. Emily froze in front of room 313, inside the old Bourbon Orleans Hotel, trembling as a cold hand brushed the back of her neck. She spun around, but no one was there. Yet she could still feel the fingers, ice cold, slow, and pressing harder. Then, from inside the dark room behind her, a voice whispered her name. Not loud, not angry, just soft and far too close. Emily's breath caught in her chest as the doorknob twisted on its own, turning slowly toward her. She stepped back, heart pounding, just as the door creaked open and a shadowy figure leaned out of the darkness. And then, everything went silent. Earlier that day, Emily had only been excited about her first trip to New Orleans. She had come with her older cousin Mark, who loved filming haunted places for his online channel. He told her the city was full of history, old stories, and places where people claimed ghosts still walked. Emily didn't believe in any of that, but she liked adventures, so she agreed to join him. They chose the Bourbon Orleans Hotel because many visitors said they had seen strange things. Ghostly dancers in the old ballroom, a woman in a long dress standing beside the elevators, and footsteps that followed guests when no one was behind them. When they checked in, the lobby felt warm and bright. People laughed near the front desk, and the staff smiled like nothing strange had ever happened there. Emily felt relaxed, even though Mark kept reminding her they were staying on the most active floor. She laughed it off until they stepped into the elevator. The moment the doors closed, the elevator jerked suddenly, like someone had pushed it from the outside. Emily grabbed the rail. Probably just old wiring, Mark said with a grin, but Emily noticed that even he kept glancing up at the lights. Their room, 309, smelled faintly of old wood and lemon cleaner. It felt normal, but the hallway outside didn't. Every time Emily stepped out, she felt like someone was walking behind her. Once, she turned and thought she saw a woman in a long white dress at the far end of the corridor. But when she blinked, the hallway was empty again. That night, Mark wanted to explore for his video. Emily tagged along, holding his flashlight. They walked through the ballroom first. The floor was shiny, like someone had just polished it, but the air felt heavy, almost cold. Emily kept rubbing her arms. In the middle of the room, Mark set his camera down to record. People say this is where a soldier still marches, he whispered into the mic. Emily rolled her eyes. A soldier? Like a ghost soldier? Yep, Mark said. He's been seen walking from one end to the other like he's still on duty. Just then, something tapped the floor behind them. One sharp step, then another. Mark grabbed the camera and spun around. The room was empty, but the footsteps kept going, slow, steady, crossing the room just a few feet away from them. Emily pulled on Mark's sleeve, her voice shaking. Can we go now? He nodded, and they hurried out, but the footsteps followed them until they reached the hallway. Back upstairs, they decided to check the floor where people said a little girl sometimes appeared. The lights flickered as soon as they turned the corner. Emily stopped. She felt it again, the cold, crawling feeling like someone was staring at her. She looked at Mark, who seemed too focused on his camera screen to notice. Then they saw it. Room 313. The door was cracked open, even though housekeeping had already finished for the night. A soft light glowed inside, but the room wasn't supposed to be occupied. Mark whispered, "Let's check it out," and started walking toward it. Emily followed, even though her stomach felt tight. When they reached the door, the light inside went out. Completely. Emily's voice trembled. "Mark, maybe we should." Before she could finish, the cold hand touched her neck. She screamed and spun, but nothing was there. Mark raised the camera, shaking. The hallway lights flickered harder now, buzzing like angry bees. The door to 313 began to move, the knob twisting as if someone inside was trying to come out. Emily stepped backward, heart racing so fast she felt dizzy. The door creaked open inch by inch, and the room inside looked darker than the hallway, as if it swallowed the light. Then a figure leaned out. A tall shadow, shaped like a person but with no face. It stood only a few feet away, tilting its head like it was studying them. Mark whispered, "Emily, don't move." But before she could answer, The figure rushed toward them, fast, silent, and cold as winter. And that's when everything went black. Emily woke up on the carpeted hallway floor, her ears ringing and her vision blurry. For a moment, she didn't know where she was. The lights above her had stopped flickering, but the air still felt cold, like a freezer door had been left open. She pushed herself up slowly, looking around. Mark wasn't beside her. Her heart jumped. "Mark," she called softly. No answer. She tried again, louder this time, and her voice echoed down the hallway. The door to room 313 stood wide open now, the darkness inside looking deeper than before. Emily swallowed hard. She didn't want to go in. She didn't want to get close. But she also couldn't leave Mark. She stepped toward the room, her hands shaking. With each footstep, the air seemed to grow colder. The carpet felt damp. When she reached the doorway, she whispered, "Please be in here, please." The room was empty. The bed was neatly made. The lamp was off. The curtains were closed. There was no sign anyone had ever walked inside. No sign a door had opened. No sign a shadow figure had stood there only minutes before. Emily backed out slowly, her chest tight, tears stinging her eyes. She grabbed Mark's fallen flashlight from the floor and ran down the hallway. She turned a corner, trying to call him again, when she heard it, soft, light footsteps behind her, like someone barefoot was following. She spun around. No one, but the footsteps kept going, coming closer. Slow, steady, soft. Emily didn't wait. She ran to the elevator, pressing the button again and again until the door slid open. She rushed inside, hitting the lobby button. The elevator shuddered as it began to move, like something heavy had jumped onto the roof. The lights flickered once, twice. Then the elevator stopped on the wrong floor. Not the lobby. Not their floor. Not any floor she had ever seen. The doors opened to a hallway covered in old wallpaper, peeling at the corners. The air smelled like dust and something sour, like a storm had flooded it long ago. The signs on the wall were old, like they belonged to another time. The numbers on the doors didn't make sense. They were crooked, faded, and scratched. Emily whispered, "This isn't real." Then she heard something. A child's giggle. Soft, light, echoing around her. She pressed the door close button, but the elevator didn't move. The giggle came again, closer this time. Her hand shook so badly, she nearly dropped the flashlight. Then small, quiet footsteps crept toward her from the far end of the hallway. Emily froze as a faint silhouette appeared. A small girl, maybe 6 or 7, wearing what looked like an old-fashioned white dress. Her head was tilted, her hair covering her face. The girl pointed at Emily. Then the hallway lights snapped off all at once. Emily screamed, kicking the side of the elevator. The door slid shut just before something small tapped the outside, 1 or 3 times, like the girl was knocking. The elevator shot downward, so fast Emily had to grab the rail. It stopped with a rough jolt and opened into the lobby. Warm lights, people talking, music playing, everything normal again. Emily ran to the front desk, breathless. "My cousin Mark, he's missing. Something happened upstairs." The clerk looked confused and called security. 2 guards went up with Emily. She showed them the hallway, room 313, and the spot where she had woken up. Everything was normal now. Room 313 was locked tight. The lights were steady. The air wasn't cold anymore. "Maybe he went outside," one guard suggested. "Maybe he's already in your room," said another. But Emily knew he wasn't. When they opened the door to room 309, she saw something resting on the bed. Mark's camera. She ran to it and hit the play button. The screen lit up. The final video clip showed the moment before everything went black. The hallway. Emily screaming. The door to 313 opening. The shadow figure stepping out. Then Mark's voice, shaky but clear. I think it wants us to follow it." The camera turned toward Emily as she backed away. The lights flickered. Something rushed forward. Then the last frame froze. A blurry, dark shape reaching for Mark. Emily's knees buckled. Tears blurred her vision. The guards exchanged confused looks, whispering to each other. But Emily stared at the screen, her heart pounding so loud she could barely hear anything else. She was about to replay the video when the hotel lights flickered again, once, then twice. The room temperature dropped fast, like someone had opened a window in winter. In the mirror across the room, Emily saw a shape. Tall, dark, faceless, standing right behind her. And as she turned slowly, breath trembling, the shadow leaned forward, close enough for her to feel its cold presence crawl across her skin. Then the lights went out,